Welcome to Sex, Love and Science with Lauren Muratore, clinical psychosexual therapist and relationship expert. This podcast explores sexuality, relationships, and the many facets in between, aiming to normalize sexual conversations, issues that we all face. Let's take the taboo out of sexuality and open up the conversations for a better sexual existence. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Welcome back to Sex, Love and Science. I have a wonderful local guest here today. I have Dr. Sheena Vaughan. And Sheena is an acupuncturist, and I would say probably a guru in this area that I don't know too much about. And I think a lot of people really don't know much about acupuncture. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing this in your practice? Because I know it's around the corner from my practice.
Yes, we're neighbours.
We're neighbours.
Thanks for having me on, Lauren.
That's okay.
It's really, really great to be on this amazing podcast of yours.
Thank you.
Feeling very honoured. I'd love to share a little bit about what acupuncture is and does, and a little bit about what we do at Chi Medicine Acupuncture. Look, I mean, I've been practicing for nearly 20 years and I've seen all kinds of things.
Just 20 years.
Just a little old.
Casual 20 years.
30 years. And I've worked in lots of different areas in my time, but the question should really sort of be what it doesn't treat, because it's so varied. It actually treats so many different things. It's a medicine in and of itself. It was developed 5,000 years ago in ancient China.
Yep.
That's the medicine that they had for the longest time. So they got very good at treating a whole range of stuff, from gynecological issues. Pain relief is probably the best known one to most people, to eye problems, goodness no, like just
everything.
A little bit of everything, gastrointestinal. So we, at our clinic though, obviously we can't do everything. We have a key focus on women's health and fertility and pregnancy support. So that's sort of our real jam with the practitioners at Chi.
Yeah, awesome. And I mean, that's such an important area, because I have countless clients who come in who are experiencing infertility or trying to conceive. One of the partners might have erectile dysfunction. There could be pain with sex, vaginismus. I mean, a multitude of things. So it's really nice to have insight from a complementary therapy and to kind of understand how that can incorporate to couples work. But so I'm aware of this name, but can you tell me, or can you tell everybody what Chi actually means? And people can never really say it and spell it. So
they're like, I made the Qui medicine. It's well, we spell our name, it's QI, and it's pronounced Chi. And in traditional Chinese medicine, it basically just means life force.
There we go.
So it's life force medicine. QI medicine. Yeah.
You can't get any more powerful than life force medicine, I think. So, all right, let's dive into I'd love to hear, so you're treating infertility, assisting with pregnancy. What is a common thread or a common clientele that you would see? What are they experiencing?
Yeah, Lauren, that's a really good question. So although we never say we can cure infertility, we're always working alongside other treatments that they might be undergoing, IVF-assisted reproductive technology. And what we tend to find is when people come to us, they tend to say, I've tried everything. I've done, either they're at the start of their journey or they've done 5 rounds of IVF and they're just at the end of their rope and they just don't know what to do. It's nice when people come at the very start of their journey, because they're aware of the benefits that Chinese medicine and acupuncture have to help the body as a whole. Because when we help the body as a whole and all the systems are working nicely together, when they're working nicely together, then fertility just happens. Babies can tend to just happen when
everything's working.
When everything's working nicely.
Sounds quite logical.
Yeah. So that's kind of what our approach, that's what we do. We don't have magical baby making points, although, gosh, I'd love that. That would be brilliant. We're working on helping to balance the systems in the body. Yeah. So people can fall pregnant more easily. And that might be working with nervous system support, balancing neurotransmitters, a whole host of different ways to do it. So yeah, it's either people at the start of their journey or some way along their fertility journey, they've found out about acupuncture and Chinese medicine. They may be, having done the fertility treatments for a while or just new to it. And we're helping people at all stages of their journey.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess that would also be, from a clinician perspective, it would be really interesting because you have people at every different point.
Mm.
And some people will be more knowledgeable and experienced and like coming in with, this is what I'm wanting to expect, or I know nothing about this.
Yep.
And have that sense of hopelessness because I've tried 5 to 10 rounds of IVF and what I hear a lot is I feel broken.
Yeah.
And it's such a horrible thing for people to come in and hold. So I guess if you're working with that emotion, that's got to, affect the body to some degree, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in your line of work, you see how feeling broken and lost, how that impacts the body. You're working with those people every day and the body follows the mind. So wherever the mind is going, the body's going to follow. So absolutely one of the biggest parts of when we're supporting someone is to help their heart, to help give them hope again, because help them understand that no, they haven't looked at every reason why they're not pregnant. They do not have a definitive answer as to why they're not yet. So, because we always tend to find there's more to uncover.
Yeah.
So we'll do this 150-point check. We're like, has your doctor checked this? Has your doctor checked for NK cells? Has your doctor checked the reasons for recurrent miscarriage? Have you checked your iron levels? Are you, like sometimes the basic thing, are you timing right? Are you actually having sex when you're ovulating? Just basic stuff.
Yeah.
So that's our job. We like my job as a practitioner, I look at all the little details that may have been missed because there's no such thing as unexplained infertility as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
There's absolutely an explanation.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause there because I think that's a really good point for people. And can I tie that back into the hope?
Yes.
Because they're going to, if it's unexplained, then there is no hope because we can't make meaning, we can't make sense of it. So if we can figure something out, there is hope.
That's right. We're pattern making machines, aren't we?
Bloody humans.
Bloody humans. And so we help uncover a pattern. And in Chinese medicine, there's always a reason. There's no unexplained anything. Anything that's disharmonious, there is absolutely a reason for it in Chinese medicine, which is one of the beautiful things about this medicine. And then there's an answer to help support it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that kind of explains the science, right? It's the same thing in I guess in different versions of medicine where they're trying to, I guess, maybe pathologize something. But I like how what you're saying is there's an answer. We can figure something out.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely. For example, you might have irregular periods, and we say, "Oh, there's blockage," in the process that's happening to have a regular period, and we just work to unblock that and move that through. That might be, stagnant blood, to talk Chinese medicine terms. Yeah. I won't go too deep into Chinese medicine, but there's always a reason. And once we work with that, things can start to improve.
Yeah. And I guess in that example, how it's probably how long is a piece of string kind of question, but for people who have that blockage,
yep.
How long does that take to start unblocking from,
It's a good question. Generally, if we're treating a fertility or cycle regulation, in more general terms, we always like to say we need to give it 3 or 4 months minimum.
Yep.
Yeah. Because particularly with fertility, that's how long it takes for the sperm and the egg to go from a primordial cell to a fully fledged egg and sperm that can actually be used for reproduction. So whatever's happening from day dot to at least 4 months is affecting what's happening with those reproductive cells. And sometimes there's more complex things going on. So there might be long-standing endometriosis, for example, or PCOS or something else, inflammation, and that can also take a bit longer. So anywhere from about 4 months to a year, but maybe more, depends on how complex things are. It's not a one session.
Correct.
I wish it were.
Correct.
But it does take time for the body to self-heal. That's what we're trying to do, is get the body working better on its own.
And that's a good point. And, you know, it's what kind of strikes me when you're saying that is it's like a 3 to 4 month process, right? So going into it, like knowing that I guess your body has to rejuvenate, or there needs to be unblocks. Yep. That needs to be, right, less blockages. So that's what the body's doing. And I guess then I can't help to think, though, with so much negative thoughts, or back to the heart space, right,
yes,
that would probably prolong the process.
Absolutely. You're so right, Lauren.
Right? Like it would then be maybe double the journey, because in an ideal world, the body's just going to do its thing, which we know it does do. But I guess at the same time, the mind is going to control the body to a degree, or we're going to hold on to traumas, or hold on to feelings, and they're going to get stuck, and the body's not going to work.
Yeah. And that's right. It's the body and mind are so intertwined, and they follow each other around, and, you know, they're leading each other. And the way that, and, you know, that's why I'm so glad that there's people like you in the world doing the work that you do, and really getting into the nitty gritty of that, because I can't do that. I don't have the skills and experience that you have to really work with the mind directly. So when we're actually working with the heart in Chinese medicine, we're just looking at a specific set of points or herbal medicine or approaches that really reduce the nervous system response, the ongoing stress response, the adrenal stress response that's happening when we're not sure what's going on. We've got unexplained, we've got lack of answers, when we're feeling like we've tried everything. So our job is to help, calm the body down, support the heart, support the spirit, and give back that hope and a plan, like a clear plan of what that's got to look like. It's not just like, oh, we'll go do some acupuncture and we'll see how you go. You know, hopefully you feel better. No, we actually, it's really important. And I found this really important with my clients, is you give them a written plan. You say, this is exactly what we're going to do, and this is why. And then we're going to reassess, and then once that's sorted, we're going to look at treating this aspect, and one step at a time. So I think that's a really important part, and that helps the heart so much, because you've got answers, you've got a plan, and you know what's going on.
100%. I like when you're telling me that story, like I've done acupuncture myself,
right,
and I've never been given a plan.
Yeah,
nobody gave me a plan to tell me what they're doing and why they're doing it, and it's like, here's my problem. Yeah, fix me. You know, I'm that annoying person. But it wasn't. I mean, it sounds so. I guess it's so structured, but also I guess confidence building. If you know exactly where you're going, and you can't make any promises, but here's the roadmap. Really,
absolutely.
And that's the same. I mean, I can give people here's a roadmap. I can't do the work for you, but here's what this process looks like.
Exactly right.
And it's, actually that's a interesting question I have for you is, do people, when they see that, do they kind of, I guess, get a little bit more relaxed?
When they see a plan?
Yeah.
I imagine they do. I see hope in their eyes.
Yeah. Yep.
I know when I get a plan for something, I feel pretty happy. I feel like I know what I'm investing in, and I know exactly what I'm putting my time and energy into, because it takes commitment to get acupuncture and do a course of Chinese medicine. It's not something that is done flippantly. Like you really want to get the most out of it. So I'm pretty certain that that's how my clients feel.
Yeah.
And well, they thank me and they go, great, I can't wait to come back. So I'm taking that as a yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, I guess, taking it back to the holistic approach, I mean, how important also, we spoke about the mind, but I mean, is diet, is what the body's actually doing, managing stress, like how and those are the external things that you also can't help people. Like, again, it's back to somebody doing the work. What else, how important is that stuff?
Really important.
Yeah.
Really important. And so diet and lifestyle and mindset and everything that affects how someone shows up in life is going to impact their fertility to one degree or another. That goes without saying. So we always integrate those elements into when we're supporting someone. But it's also really important because especially when, and this is really for our female and male listeners, but one thing I find that is a bit of a pattern when people come to see us is, for the women in particular, there's a lot of self-blame. Yeah. Oh, I'm not pregnant because there's something wrong with me. And then they go into fixing mode. And I've got clients that will come to me going, oh no, I watched a scary movie, the night of my IVF transfer, my egg transfer, and I'm worried I got too stressed out and I've affected my transfer. Like, it's to that nth degree of like hyper focusing on every aspect of what we could call, not being well, not practicing wellness. And that actually, I'm careful to give people a lot of leniency and say, be very gentle on yourself. Your body's also super resilient.
Yep.
So if you can we can put in a plan to treat and support you with all of these things. And at the same time, no, babies happen just in all circumstances as well.
True.
So go easy on yourself. Don't beat yourself up for doing, the wrong thing.
Totally good point.
Yeah, because it's that in and of itself, you will just spiral.
Well, yeah. I mean, being hypervigilant on that, wellness. I mean, you could spiral quite easily, and if you're micromanaging every move of yourself, that's got to keep your body in a stress response, really. Right. So it's just being counterproductive.
Yeah.
Kind of back to the health thing. It's funny that a lot of guys who come into my office, like they'll go, see a GP if they're having any penis issues, and they'll always say, my doctor just told me to eat well and exercise. And I'm like, it is kind of sound advice, but now, we got to start there. We're going to break it down. But I mean, if you, healthy heart, healthy penis. I'm not going to make this about penises, but I'm just saying, like, how it's just, GPs will tell you, what are you eating? Go exercise.
I love GPs. GPs are awesome. There's these people, these general practitioners, emphasizing on the general, but they are just so helpful and they help so many people through so many things. And it's really important that people recognize that they are general practitioners. Yep. They're going to give you general advice unless you're seeing someone who, it's their area of expertise. So it's a good place to start, but also no, it's not where you stop. You absolutely, if you are having problems, need to seek out expert tailored advice. So in relation to guys, to men's health, and you've heard me talk about this before, Lauren, but men's health is actually a really big focus right now. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but the World Health Organization has basically tracked over the past 20 years, there's been about a 40% decline in global male fertility.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So sperm health has declined 40% globally.
40%.
Right. Wowzers. It's epic. So we're in this sort of issue, this epidemic of, poor male fertility. We're not sure why. We've got lots of hypotheses as to what's going on. So now more than ever, guys are not taking a backseat with fertility. So yes, diet and exercise is a really good place to start. And then I feel like half the time in my client consultation, I'm just explaining to the woman who's brought herself in to fix all of her problems that actually it's probably your partner that's the majority of the reasons why you've got recurrent early miscarriage, or it's just not happening. You're not falling pregnant. So male fertility, there's not a lot of treatments out there too in Western medicine at the moment. So, but specific diet, not just generally eating healthy, specific nutrients are really key. And depending on what's going on, you need to do a full male health check. You need to make sure there's no inflammation, no problems with the testes, actually get your androgens, your hormones, male hormones tested. If there's a recurring problem, get a proper sperm test, check for sperm antibody. There's a rabbit. I'm going down a rabbit hole here. But this is the sort of stuff we think about.
Yeah.
And it's not just female problems, it's male stuff too. And like, for example, in our clinic, we get that when the guys can come in, it's fantastic. We work on reducing their stress. We work on herbal supplementation, nutritional supplementation, giving them that plan too.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yes. And with the intention of really moving the needle on the quality of sperm. And also it's stressful for guys too. Having a baby,
Yeah. It's stressful. I mean, it's a we. It's a we. You can't have a baby, right? So it's who to tango. We need two people to be operating.
Sure does.
That their bodies are functioning to make that happen.
Yep. And their hearts as well. Oftentimes the men will come in, and even in same-sex couples, the partner, let's say, who's, supporting there's this sort of sense of, I don't know what to do, and they get a bit stuck. So working on supporting them emotionally is really important. So we can help relax the body, connect the heart up back with the uterus or the testes or the penis to just really open things up and let them express and move through
to just bring it all back together. Wow.
Yep.
So curious about this. What does the science say? I mean, I guess, we're looking at Eastern versus Western medicine, and there'll probably be so many people with so many different opinions on this.
Sure.
But as you said, acupuncture has been around for 5,000 years plus. So has it been researched? Has people looked into this?
Yeah, there has been a ton of research into Chinese medicine and acupuncture and herbal medicine. And there's also a lot that needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because there's still a lot that's not actually known about exactly how or why it works. So I don't know how long it's going to take to really, or if they'll ever get to, fully understanding it. But there's a lot of really, really good evidence out there for anyone who wants to read up on it, especially around stress and pain management and helping to reduce fatigue, stimulate the nervous system, regulate the nervous system, neurotransmitters, which have a huge effect on the body. So all of the systems in the body are all tied in through the nervous system. So we can work with lots of different areas.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting point. And I guess kind of like I'll just compare that to women's health. I mean, it's been so under-researched for so long, and it's finally being spoken about. It's been advocating that there's more research needs to be done.
Yep.
I can't imagine, and maybe this is some homework for myself because now I'm really curious, is like, who would be funding, I mean, because we know with the political climate, what fundings look like. And I mean, how awful it is in the whole science debate anyway. Here's just even another layer where it would be like, when is this going to get done? Do you know what I mean?
Good question. I don't think Big Pharma's going to fund it anytime soon. That's okay.
No.
I think you just kind of go with what you hear and what you see and do your own research.
Yeah.
Find out, we try different things. Some of it works for us. Some of it doesn't. And if it works for you, then that's great, and find your own path through it. But yeah, when all the research will get done, who knows?
Yeah. Where's our crystal ball?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. So I guess if anybody's experiencing, anything really, as you heard at the beginning, acupuncture is good for anything. But if you're specifically looking for, infertility falling pregnant, going through IVF, assisted reproduction, Sheena is the go-to over at Chi Acupuncture, in case you get confused.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Anytime. Thank you.